past. If this can be connected to Charles Lindbergh, it would be a valuable piece from a collector's standpoint because they would want that associative, connection with Charles Lindbergh. I can tell you it's probably pre-World War II. The fact that it's this particular serial number, and it's a civilian serial number, it doesn't have Most propellers in the 1930s were wood. They weren't all wood, though. They were using steel, they were using aluminum, they were beginning to try new materials that would last better. You said that Charles Lindbergh supposedly gave this to your grandmother?
That's correct. For selling war bonds, that's the information I have.
Do you have any documentation of Charles Lindbergh giving this to your grandmother?
No, I don't right now. We had documentation of a newspaper article, and it was lost over the years.
Okay. I would guess that the first thing that people would think about is it off the Spirit of St. Louis? No.
No.
It's not. That's an absolute. The Spirit of St. Louis used a steel propeller. This is wood. Doesn't fit. Charles Lindbergh, before World War II, was in a group called America First. It was an isolationist group. He was against the war, and he tried very hard to keep the United States out of World War II. There were a lot of people, including President Roosevelt, that really didn't trust his motives. They thought maybe he was a closet Nazi. They thought, he was way too ensconced with the anti-war forces. But when we went to war, he worked on behalf of the United States. And so he changed their minds with all the work that he did on behalf of the United States, but he didn't do a lot of work with bond drives. There's no way of saying for sure unless you have some kind of documentation from the time. And that is something that you could probably find. In the newspapers at the time, a presentation from Charles Lindbergh would be in the newspaper.
Right.
That would have been reported.
My grandparents and my parents said this is real. I can't dispute that because they wouldn't lie to me. Why would they lie to me?
My first guess would be that it was a different pilot that might have presented it. There are a lot of very famous pilots that did work with the bond drives.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate your time.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Mark.
Even though Mark couldn't verify this propeller for us, it's still an antique, it's still in great shape, and it's still worth money, just not nearly as much. Since I can't tie it to Charles Lindbergh, I'm sort of torn here. What we do know is we have a pre-World War II propeller that's in pretty good shape. I would give you $1,000 for it.
I'll overstep my son. I'll go up to $1,500 now. My recommendation to you is you take the damn thing home, you try to find the documentation. If you do, I'll probably take and pay $2,000 to $3,000 for it. Maybe a little more than that.
Well, I think I'll do the research on it.
Okay, no problem.
Hey,
Right.
Hey, the offer stands. I think this guy made the right decision. If he can find paperwork that proves this propeller was associated with Charles Lindbergh, he's going to make a lot of money.
How you doing today?
What's going on, man?
Hey, I got an item I wanted to show you.
See what you got.
Willie Nelson's keychain to his 1990 Mercedes-Benz.
This is legit?
It's legit, for sure.